guest of the hour.
All right, so war in Iran.
Oh, yeah.
We have 2 terrorist attacks.
On the same day.
In America.
Within a couple hours of one another.
Today.
Yeah.
Bruce, we got a lot to talk about.
That we do. And I think that it is very fair to say that regardless of what you think about Iran, they might be religious fanatics, but I don't think they are delusional to this point. Everything we see from Iran is they know they can't beat the United States militarily. Like, they don't have an Army, Navy, Air Force, or technology to beat us. We will beat them in a fair fight. It appears that, like they have done for the last 40-something years, Iran is prepping for, call it an unfair fight. And maybe we saw a little bit of that today. Joining us right now is the president and CEO of the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, also a former Pentagon official and special assistant to the Office of Secretary of Defense, Mike Makovsky. Mike, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So you heard me set it up a little bit, you know, that the terror attack, at least the one we saw in Bloomfield Hills, I'm going to say it's early game, but it seems that this would be an example of some sort of inspired retaliation.
It's possible. I haven't read what the motivation of this particular terrorist was, but it's very possible. I mean, we also saw, don't forget, in New York, an ISIS-inspired attack the other day, also outside of Gracie Mansion. So I don't know if it's ISIS or if it's Iran-inspired.
Well, and I think that's an important point. I appreciate you make that, because it's something that I feel like I have to go back to every once in a while. Is ISIS and Iran proxies are not the same. As a matter of fact, they don't like each other at all.
That's right. The Iranians are Shia Muslim, and the Iranian government is Shia Muslim fanatics, and the ISIS is Sunni Muslim fanatics.
Yeah.
And, and we don't know. I mean, again, we don't know enough, but and I think we still have to be worried about ISIS. But obviously the subject of today is obviously Iran.
Mike Makovsky is joining us, former Pentagon official, former special assistant in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. So when the war started, because I'm interested in kind of picking your brain, were you for the war? Is this something that you think is a good idea, or did we miscalculate this thing?
No, I absolutely thought it was exactly the right thing for a few reasons. First of all, once President Trump said in early January, and I give him a lot of credit, he's the first president to show open sympathy for Iranian demonstrators, and there have been Iranian anti-government demonstrators over the decades, and not one president has ever shown any support. So he showed support for them in early January. He said, don't kill them. And then he said, help is on the way. Now, the regime in the end killed, I mean, estimates range, but, you know, there are a lot of reports out there that could be 35,000 or over. I think President Trump said 32,000. We don't know exactly, but it's something, it's a magnitude that's just staggering. That happened like over a couple of days. So I think once the president said that, I think for his own credibility, he absolutely had to do that. So I think that's the trigger for now. People say, why now? I think that's the trigger. However, the broader context is, which I'm sure you're also getting at, is why do we want to go to war with this regime? And I think if you step back and you say, look, this regime has been killing Americans, including American soldiers, but also American citizens for decades. There was the 83 bombing in Beirut, which was a proxy of Iran that did that. They killed something like 240 American servicemen. And there was again, ranges that in Iraq, as I've seen numbers of 600 American soldiers that may have been killed. How many were wounded? I haven't seen exactly the number, but the numbers are large. Yeah. They're the biggest sponsor of terror in the world. They're anti-American viciously. They call us the Great Satan. They're developing nuclear weapons. They're developing missiles. They have missiles, but they've been developing missiles that could reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. So you just can't allow a country like this to have nuclear weapons. And I think it's just time to I prefer that we seek a regime collapse strategy. Ultimately, it's going to be the Iranian people that are going to bring down this regime. But I think a war that severely weakens a vicious regime like this that has caused so much havoc both within its country, against Americans, against Israelis, against the whole region, it's time for them to go, or at least be severely weakened.
Mike Makovsky is joining us, President and CEO of the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, former Pentagon official. I guess there are a bunch of countries out there that don't like us. They want to kill us. We don't go to war with everybody. I didn't know what the imminent attack was. The president keeps saying that there was an imminent attack after saying that we completely abolished, or what is it?
Totally obliterated.
Sorry, their nuclear program. So, it almost for me was like, as just a regular everyday American, okay, now gas prices are going to go up. Well, that's went through the roof. We see the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody's going through that. Energy prices are going up across the world. And I'm just wondering, is it worth it? I'm wondering, why couldn't we just bomb their nuclear facilities over and over throughout the next few years, or let Israel do it, and we stay out of it? Because Americans don't want to be in this. The poll numbers say we don't like this, and we don't want to be near this.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a legitimate question for sure. Look, we and the Israelis did a lot of damage to them in June.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah. The 12-day war.
The 12-day war, exactly. But I think, the president did say we obliterated, but we didn't exactly obliterate it. We did a lot of damage to their nuclear facilities, but they still have stored nuclear facilities. There's one major facility, what's called the Pickaxe Mountain, because it's buried underneath this mountain that's called that.
Right.
And we didn't touch that at all at the time because, frankly, it's hard to reach because it's so buried. It's even buried more than the facility that we used our B-2s against in June, called Fort House. So we did a lot, and I give the president, the Israelis, a lot of credit for that, the American military for sure. But we didn't do everything. So I think the time had come. Again, I think the timing was the massacre of their own people, and I think it was just time. These guys are just, as I said, they just killed too many Americans. They're developing these nuclear weapons, and also the ballistic missiles. You're referring to what they're doing to the ships in the Hormuz, the oil tankers. Look how they're attacking the Saudis, the Emiratis, the Kuwaitis, even the Qataris, countries they're actually friendly with, some of these countries, and they're just bombing them. They're just firing missiles. So those missiles are important because they're protecting. That's their biggest conventional asset, is those ballistic missiles that effectively help protect the nuclear facilities. So I think President Trump just thought, you know what, this is enough already. We just got to get rid of this threat or severely weaken it.
Mike, I have a question for you. And again, in your professional opinion, having certainly worked very closely inside the Pentagon and with military and strategy, can this war be won without ground troops? Can this be won from the air only, and missiles and bombs?
It's a great question. I guess it depends on on how you define win.
Okay.
Right? So they're different kind of wins. I think if we severely degrade their conventional forces, that means their ballistic missile capability. When we say ballistic missiles, not just the missiles, the launchers, it's their defense industrial base that produces those missiles. So we could do a lot of that. Their technology, the drones, the ones that make the drones. And obviously, if we could do that alone, and we killed, as we did already, we and the Israelis, we decapitated their leadership in a stunning beginning when this war began. Then I think that alone, should be seen as a success. However, to get to your question about the ground forces, I think the president keeps talking about the nuclear facilities, and I think we all agree they have to be addressed. I don't know the answer. I think that what I would feel much better about, I would see as a great success, if we could remove that highly enriched uranium that's buried under the rubble. It's rubble because we bombed it, but also try to get into that Pickaxe Mountain facility. That might require special forces on the ground by us, from us, and the Israelis. But that would mean we would have to create a secure perimeter to get them in there, and also even maybe get some like trucks or equipment that's able to extract that equipment. That would be a huge success, I think, and that would be something we would do with the Israelis. In terms of the goal of regime collapse, I personally don't think ground troops are necessary, and I personally would not advise to use them. I think for the regime to come down, that's got to be brought down by the people, that by weakening the regime. And also, I don't know if you saw this. I think it was yesterday. There's a video I saw on Twitter about a drone, either as ours or the Israelis, I don't recall, hit a checkpoint of their one of their security agencies that suppress the people. If we can do things like that, then I think that would be a great thing, so we can weaken the security forces. But I think it's ultimately going to have to be the people that bring it down and not any ground forces. I wouldn't advise that for that part of the operation.
Certainly makes sense. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you, sir. Oops, I think we might have lost him. That's Mike.
Oh, good timing.
Mike Makovsky, President and CEO of the Jewish Institute for the National Security of America, also former Pentagon official and former special assistant to the Office of Secretary of Defense.
You know, we talked to a couple of military experts, and they're both for this war.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to say this. Haven't served in the military.
Me neither. Yeah.
I think people in the military, they're for the. Yeah, of course they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like asking the people that make missiles. Are you guys for war? Yeah, we're for as many damn missiles as you can shoot.
I don't know.
If you're in the war business, when's it start? And we've created a war now where very few people get hurt. If we were talking about waves of World War I trench warfare, maybe the attitude would be different.
Should be the last option.
Yeah, but we can do war by shooting drones from halfway around the world.
Yeah, but how many people? We've got United States soldiers that are losing their limbs.
Oh, we've got 140 injured.
Right.
We have many that are still in
7
hospitals. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's serious. I think it's serious.
Of course it's serious. I just think it should be the last absolute possible option.
I guess what I'm saying is I think military advisors are for military use. How's that? I haven't heard a lot of military advisors go, we should never use the military, for God's sakes. You don't get to be a military